All right, so thank you for coming this evening. This is going to be just kind of a recap of where we have been so far, and then moving forward, I think there's some specific steps we have to take to finally get to the point where we're doing a farmer's market and having it up and active. So what I'll do is I'll quickly read through our some of our mission statements that we put down and our vision, and that will kind of lay the foundation. And then we have a quick agenda that we'll move through. So the mission is the New Orleans East Farmers Market functions to provide fresh food options to New Orleans East residents that is mutually beneficial for residents, vendors, and small businesses in our community, while providing a center for nutritional education and support. So idea there is especially towards the end, the partnership between New Orleans East Hospital in this market. We want to focus it on the specific needs and health disparities that are in our area, and hopefully it's a good foothold moving forward. And then a vision, a new farmers market will serve as a catalyst for nutritional food options in the East, increase healthy eating habits, resulting in the reduction of dietary related illnesses, and will provide social and economic benefits to the community. EBT and SNAP benefits will be a method of payment at the market. So we are hoping to get EBT and SNAP certified so people can come and use that for good food. And it's going to benefit the vendors that are there. It's going to benefit them. I think can begin to create a good community around what we're doing. With that, the agenda, we went through some introductions, and then the goal for today's meeting, I have 3 things down. If anyone wants to add anything or comment, you can. So first goal is gauging the availability of vendors and their interests. And then 2, complete our market managers crew. So we have a market manager, typically there's a market manager, and we're going to split that into a few people, a few groups. So if anyone hears something that they're interested in doing as part of the market manager, we would love to talk to you about what it means to be part of that team and volunteer with that team. So the 2 roles, and well, there's 3 roles essentially when it comes to market manager. There's a day of operations manager. So that's a coordinating, setup, takedown, volunteers, site preparedness, and running the EBT SNAP booth. And then 2, market outreach. And then 3 would be vendor liaison, which Kim seems to be interested in. So of those 3, we'll find a crew who can lead it. And then the final point for this evening would be determining clear tasks and pathways forward for your engagement and community's engagement and involvement to make this happen. So any comments on the brief agenda? All right, so let's go ahead and hit that first agenda point there. I know we have some vendors on this call, and we want to get to a point where this is a vendor-friendly market and get an understanding of what is available and when it's available. So I know Nikita is, she mentioned she was a vendor. Melvin just popped on here. Melvin, are you willing to do a quick introduction for yourself? If not, that's fine. Nikita, so you said you sell products kind of made from oatmeal. This would be food products. Could you give me just an idea of your availability, or what would be attractive for you if we were to start this market?
It could be a weekly thing. I drive out to New Orleans a lot. I still have kids and grandkids there, so I'm always there. I was actually down there just last week. and I've learned about it from Melvin. I've joined his the Little Woods Co-op, and basically, I want to get involved. I was always a resident there. My food line, I'm starting it out here in Arkansas, but the way I'm setting it up is I will be able to sell it in flea markets, stores, gas stations, everywhere. So I'm willing to still come out and engage with the public about the my granola line, which is Amanola.
Amanola.
Yeah, Amanola. So I'm working with a commercial kitchen in Arkansas, and I'll have everything packaged up and everything within the next actually 2 to 3 weeks. So everything's going according to plan.
Okay,
And that's
so
just one product starting with my food line.
okay, so you would be getting a large stockpile of food, and then you'd be able to distribute that either at the market or at stores around New Orleans. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, for as far as times, we were in past meetings, we kind of landed on the Saturday afternoon time slot. So I forget the exact hours. I think it was something like 3 to 6. Someone can jump in there if they remember. So initially, the plan was to start in September and do the 2 weeks in September, and then gauge how it went and see how we start in October. But obviously, with Ida coming through, that pushed everything back. Any other comments on vendors and availability and interest?
So, Pastor John, this is Robin. So how will we, I guess, gauge how many vendors, what they'll be supplying so that we can kind of, include that in our weekly or advertisement, however we're going to get it out through social media or whatever, like this is what you can expect this Saturday. Understanding it's going to change, every time we have it, but, how do we get the vendors to commit to what they're going to have?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I can speak to that, John. I'm gonna create like a Google form where potential vendors can sign up and just let us know what they have, their social media, just their contact info and all of that, so that we can start to share information amongst the vendors a little bit easier, and then get the word out that way. So I've already been getting some vendors reaching out. So I'm not sure if John, you've been just giving people my info, or Ashley, or who's been doing that, but keep it coming, because that's why Pete is here this evening. So
I know
Yeah,
that I'm sharing the information, so it may be vendors that are contacting you through, because I had put out a couple of things already through social media to attract vendors. So it might be.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, great.
Yeah, and it would be a matter of following up with those vendors and then really nailing down what works for them. And again, we'd have to, our priority is fitting it to our mission. So what works with healthy, available food for our community. And then we also said, we don't want anything like someone reselling plastic toys. That's not the goal of this. This is really to focus on health and nutrition, and then local businesses from there. So we would be able to probably create a profile of what each vendor is selling. And if they are inconsistent with what they're bringing, we might have to just say, you have to tell us by this time of the week what you're bringing so that we can advertise it to the community. Yeah, so I think starting a database of vendors, and we are going to be talking with Market Umbrella about some of the market stuff that we're doing, and potentially there's a good pool of vendors there. I don't think we conflict with any of the market umbrella times, as far as I know. So vendors can serve under that organization, and then if they want to come out and serve with us, that would be wonderful.
Did we talk about, I know I missed the meeting last week, did we talk about pricing structure and all of that for the vendors, and how's that going to work?
We didn't talk about that last week. That was a few times ago. Initially, the idea was that we start, vendors are welcome for free, just to get it going. And then once we get an idea of the people that are there, we can begin to make plans for pricing structure. Now, that changes a little bit because last time we were talking about liability, and the community garden is going to have to purchase liability insurance to use the property. So that wouldn't be a huge price, but if we got a good handful of vendors, we can ask for a small fee or donation to cover that, and that should cover it for the whole year.
And the market umbrella is, that's how we're going to tie in I get the method of payment, like the EBT, we're going to go use their organization for that, correct? Is that still the plan?
Yeah, so that conversation has yet to happen yet, but that would be our easiest tie-in to getting EBT and SNAP. All right, any other comments on availability, interest of vendors, or any just general comments about the time of the market? I don't think we'll be able to start this Saturday, but potentially October 2nd would be a start date. So we'll have our core group kind of talk about what that looks like, if it's going to be a full month start every week, or if we're going to do 2 weeks in October and then see how it goes and figure out November. All right, next point here is market manager's crew. So there's 2 roles that are still up for grabs when it comes to market manager. The day of operation manager. So how I envision this person is they are making plans so that setup happens, the market happens, takedown happens, and then their main focus is just day of. So that would include coordinating some volunteers to help with setup, working with the vendor liaison to make sure vendors know when and where to set up, and creating some sort of map. And then I had running the EBT SNAP booth. So I'm not sure if that's going to be, that'll probably fall on our shoulders. If Market Umbrella is working with us, we would need someone to be running that booth. And how that works is people come and purchase tokens, and they then use those tokens at the booths to purchase what they need. And then the vendors come and get reimbursed by that person, whoever is running that. And then the other one is marketing and outreach. So this would be maybe one person, or the other thought I had is we can kind of do this organically, where we can create a flyer, and probably the best way to get word out about this market is word of mouth. Bring it to your organizations, bring it to your church and pastor, and saying this is what's going to be happening, and see if you can get a few people who are interested, and then hopefully by October we can really get people excited for the market, and get them out and at least check it out and shop a little bit. So I'll open that up to anyone who wants to comment on day of operation manager or market outreach. Any insights or comments?
Yes, Pastor John. I would I think October is a beautiful month to be able to package the events going on, especially when we talk about fall festivals, is definitely, it just has a feel for where people want to bring their families. So I look at it in packaging wise as people coming out to the fall festival of a farmer's market in the East. And because I mean, if I'm just saying farmer's market, you know, the question always in business is what distinguishes this one from another one? Why can't I just go to this other one? And what's going to make it any difference? And I think wording is always important. How you label, what you do, how you package it, and fall festival layout for it, I think it would be a beautiful concoction concerning how we lay things out for it. And I think it would do wonders, especially when you're talking about outreach in different locations and using possibly the market reach of the umbrella organization, the market umbrella organization for the such.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to Market Umbrella. I'm not, they're busy, I know, getting back up to selling after Ida. So I think I haven't been able to get a hold of them, but I think it'd be really beneficial if we can use their already large network of people and marketing to let people know we're doing something out here.
I also want to mention as well, with our banks. So one of the things most people don't know is that each bank has a community outreach department, which is a community. Some people work as a multifunctional officer. So you just have to ask specifically for the community engagement officer. Sometimes it's in their local branch here in the area. Others are more of a territory, especially with the labor shortage. Some people kind of take on more than one head, as we know is all too common. And so I think having a bank there on premises will help establish one easier financial flow to actually purchase products from the vendors, and allow them to kind of gauge faster without any hindrance of people having access to their money, which, as we know, during Hurricane Ida was a big thing.
Oh,
Purchasing
yeah.
gas.
Mhm.
Purchasing gas, you couldn't even get an ATM right in hand if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's right.
So having one on premises will help build partnership and even more credibility towards other efforts that you'll want to do. Hancock Whitney's right in the backyard, right off of Reed, and they're very engaging. They just did a merger, so they're even larger. Network is even larger, and they can possibly assist with third-party marketing just on that. Liberty Bank also extended their reach going out to Memphis. They just merged with Horizon Bank. So they just expanded their market, and they have extended vendor location of local entrepreneurs in the Gentilly branch as well. So those are two that are right in our backyard that are very expanding and are increasing in their local state, to say.
Yeah, I've known Liberty has done a few things in the community. I've never tapped into that, but would you have any contacts or inside contacts, or is it just best to ask for the community outreach officer?
Yeah, I have some contacts at Hancock. Liberty, I think things have kind of changed a little bit. It's been a while since I touched bases with Liberty. But Hancock, I have contacts over there.
Okay. Well, if something comes up, just mention it, and then I will reach out too. I think that's something I didn't think about, having a bank on premise would promote people to, or give them easy access to what they need. All right, yeah, so marketing and outreach, one of the other things that we will eventually have to consider is maybe for this first market, if we make it a fall festival like thing, we look for sponsors in the community that can give us that big boost, like a grand opening. And I know of a few local New Orleans East businesses who would probably pitch in for that, but anyone have off the top of their heads an idea of businesses or organizations or individuals that would support something like this financially?
So our head of quality just moved on to another career, but she sent me the information for the old one, or I guess the one that's replacing her. And I'm waiting for just a response, I guess, because there's a lot going on. But there is still money. We still have a wellness grant with some money in it. So that's what I'm working on. And I will try to get an answer, I guess tomorrow and the next day or two, to see how much funds are available for that and for the banner.
Okay. Yeah, banner's going to be key. And then potentially down Bullard Corridor, some small signs, lawn signs or A-frame signs would eventually be valuable. But that's part of if we have a banner to set up the week before or even a few weeks before, that should gain us some attention. We will, as far as marketing, Crown Community Garden will be marketing through their Instagram and Facebook. We'll be emailing some of our subscribers. We're gonna do a blast out to Lisa Stafford, who does the New Orleans East newsletter, and then probably send it to Councilwoman Cindy. And what other avenues can we find with that? I think once we do have a kind of an invitation and a date, sending it to y'all, and then you all can send it through your channels and see how many people become, or encourage them to send it on. So word of mouth will be kind of the big goal here.
Right, and Pastor, I do a lot with the organizations that I am in with invites to events, particularly on social media, so I can help in that regards.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I would say organizations to touch bases with that would most likely be very solid, possibly would be I'm trying to think of the family's name. I have their card, but their graphics, they're right off of Reed and Lake Forest, right behind the Chase Bank. And
Universal
the
Printing.
Chase Bank, when they print out a lot of the graphics for the New Orleans East Professional Society. A lot of businesses go to them in the area right there, just mainly because their location, their availability, and professionalism. Their time, the print turnover time for prints. They're able to print out a lot of large of the items on and the quality behind it, banner and everything wise. This other business that I look at that I think would be probably Flow possibly, that's been franchising Pee-wee's crab cakes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pee-wee's, they have now expanded to 4 locations.
Wow.
And 2 of them are, well, one of them, the nearest one, Gentilly, and the other one on Chef. They just opened up their recent new location. So trying to promote their expanding restaurant with fresh ingredients from the farmer's market would always be a vertical marketing kind of benefit laid out from there.
Yeah.
The third other business that I look at would be had it on it. It's printing Pee-wee. You had to come back because I had it lined up for me, but I'm getting brain freeze right now, laying everything out.
We could ask Metro, but I'm not sure if they would show up. So that's my joke. Yeah, I think yeah, some of the other organizations, there's some down in Allen Astor, like Metro, and some Bow Brothers are down there. Those are big organizations, but we as Community Garden has tried to crack into them, but haven't been successful yet. But just as far as any organization interested in promoting local events, will be open to obviously receiving a donation towards our work, especially if we're going to make it something that's a kind of a community festival.
Well, I forgot to say, Home Depot. So
Yes.
Home Depot, they have a small garden program. Like they do like hands-on gardens. They actually have a designated experts that deal with gardening and people growing. So having a farmer's market where people actually are growing and things like that, you need tools. So where would you buy them from? Home Depot. So having them it would directly benefit them being one of the closer organizations in that area. The other one would be Southern's Cynthia Balau. She runs the business accelerator there, and the network there is the only system in the state of HBCUs and entrepreneurs under their tutelage that would give a direct insight of having her there and her program there for other entrepreneurs and things that are looking to be developed, which I think could help a different dynamic there for the market.
Okay. What would be the best way to contact her?
She has they have an office for their accelerator. So there's a number. I have the number. I have to give it to you after. I have to look for it. But yeah, it'd be the best contact for her.
Yeah, if you find it and pass it on to me, I'll reach out to her. Okay, good. Good. So any other market outreach ideas, or maybe let me ask, what would be the best way for me to give you all something to share? Would it be something digital, like an Instagram post, or actual flyer, or would it be I would love to sit down with people and chat. So if it's your pastor or someone who's in charge of your organization, or someone who's in charge of an organization, feel free to give them my number, give me a call, I'll sit down with them. But what can I pass on to you all to empower you to spread the news?
I think digital, I mean, because as far as flyers go, I know I can print them out at work. So if you send it out digital, everyone can share it, and then I can just, print that too. And I can, walk around the different businesses that are around the hospital and pass them out. And they've always been good about putting up flyers for the market.
Okay.
Same for
Digital.
me.
Yeah, I would say digital as well.
There's a I know there's the ladies walking group. What's the Girl Trek? Who they go walking for exercise, and they've been to the community garden. One of the things that I would like to accomplish is actually doing some, I don't know, probably landing flyers on people's doors in some way. So I'm going to see if I could get a hold of them, and they can, if they're going to be doing walking anyways, they can walk down some of our streets and get people, especially right in the area, let them know what's happening. And hopefully my hope is that we get a larger, like one larger meeting before the whole thing starts with a few more community members, get their input, and then really work that network of go to your church, go to your gym, go to your organization, share the information.
And Pastor, you might want to check with ENONAC, because all the neighborhoods in the east, they have that cab that's a part of it, and those presidents can go back to the neighborhoods and spread it out.
Yes.
And hopefully there'll be, I think with the churches, I don't know how the communication gets in. Do they have, how the churches communicate to their congregations or what have you, but that might be a good outlet too. And
Right.
that can be helpful.
Yes. Yeah, ENONAC's going to be.
I'll check into the,
Oh, go ahead, Robin.
I'm sorry. No, I was going to say, I was going to check, no, because I belong to Franklin Avenue Baptist Church, and I know we do things through the announcements on Sundays because we are having in-service church. So I'll find out what's the protocol.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
To have those announcements made.
Good. All right, and then our final point here is determining clear tasks and pathways for you all in the community engagement and involvement. So I think we've been talking about that right now with the marketing. If we could just get everyone kind of to be the marketing for our farmers market, word can spread quickly in different ways. And then clear task forward, we're going to be needing volunteers once we do start to help with setup, takedown, and then still maybe 2 volunteers to be part of that market managing team. And I have a little bit deeper document that goes into credentials and roles of each of the market managers and what we expect of each. So that would still be a volunteer role. Potentially, if the market were to grow, it could be something that's compensated to some degree. But if someone's willing to look at those roles and pick it up, that's what we'll be sharing with the community, letting them know, here's how you can support the market. Here's opportunities to volunteer. So volunteer opportunities will be posted through Crown Community Garden at this point, unless there's a better way of doing it. And what we use at Crown Community Garden is Hands on New Orleans. It's a New Orleans organization, and they have a platform where we post volunteer times and descriptions, and then people can sign up through that. And then it makes it an easy connect with volunteers and our needs. So with volunteering, any other ideas for getting volunteers or engaging volunteers?
I don't know if the city, I don't know how wide area spread that we would want to go, but I know during COVID, during Ida, the city had put out some links and things of that nature with introducing volunteerism within this disaster, and how, people was giving food and things of that nature. And I'm just going to try to see and look, is there like a website or something like that where they collaboratively bought different organizations and people who were donating and needed volunteers? It seems to me if they haven't done that, they should continue, but it's like a portal where people who wants to volunteer can go to and continue to, give up their services. So I'm just going to see what's out there as it relates to, is there other outlets, Pastor, for volunteers?
Yeah, that would be interesting what you find, because I think that's a very fragmented section of our city. Is there's organizations all around trying to do
Ex-
similar things, but
Exactly. It
so
seems
we do
like to
fine.
me, it should be like one portal where organizations can say, here's what we're needing. And then people who offer their volunteer, you know, they can go to it. And it felt like they were starting something like that. But like you said, it is very fragmented, but it, you know, I wonder if they're looking to do more or bring it, you know, closer together. So I'll just kind of look around and see what I could find for other outlets. Meaning.
Yeah.
And also to piggyback on that, like what age, I guess, are we targeting? Because I'm thinking, you know, what about university or maybe high school students who need credits, you know, and that can be part of their, you know, high school credits that they need to graduate if they need to do some type of volunteerism.
Yeah, I think
You know,
as
is that
long as
too
you,
young?
yeah, that'd be a good conversation. Can families volunteer with young kids? I think that'd be another conversation to have. Yeah. So types of volunteers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree concerning the volunteers. I would actually looking at it, a few of the colleges, they require a volunteer component to graduate. And that's something similar that Loyola and Tulane actually included in some of their participation with the Ferret neighborhood market uptown. And so they actually worked to I think it was part of their community engagement and community investment kind of layout, which one, it marketed their programs and their involvement and whatnot, so they can kind of get more grants as a school, but it also provided some of the labor and log hours. One of the things that was required was, say we do get volunteers from like Dillard, Suno, UNO, which is like in our backyard, and Nunez, which is right around the corner, right, Lily, what Chalmette.
Yeah.
I think they have a culinary program over there at Nunez as well. So like having them being part of a program like this, us just having a login for them, so we have an actual component that Lily keeps track of their hours when they, and then a report at the end, you know, just sent to their email based on them, so they have a record of their volunteer hours for their accreditation and a point of contact at each university where we turn those hours in for the individuals.
Yeah,
so
that could be something. Part of the market manager's business, you know, responsibilities could do that as well.
Yeah, and
Like
Hands on New Orleans.
The program.
Yeah, the Hands on New Orleans program actually does all that. So you can, when you sign up, it emails you the information, written information about your volunteering, and then you can check in your hours there. I think universities, we've had Xavier out here, we had UNO. I think they go off of hours from that. So that component is pretty well set. But like you said, Robin, someone who's going to be the market manager would need to be in charge of those volunteers coming for that time.
Right, just administering that.
All right. So volunteering, any additional ways that we can engage the community? I think marketing is going to be huge. Getting a banner out there, getting social media going, getting into church, that's going to be huge. Creating kind of a fall fest environment, that's going to be important too. Everyone's kind of itching to get out and do something, and this would be a great time to do it. And it's going to be good for vendors and good for people, and potentially even having some, I'm not sure if we have entertainment initially, but down the road, I think that's definitely something we should consider. I have a few people I can reach out to that are connected to the entertainment sector that might be able to give us some direction with that. All right, anything else with pathways forward? I think later on we'll talk about a definite date. I don't know if we have a strong enough grasp on vendors yet as far as availability and interest. I would hope we get maybe about 5 to 10 vendors initially. I think that would be a solid start for the market and go from there. But someone like Nikita already has her stuff ready. Farmers would be different. Talking with Kim a little bit, farmers might need to recover from Ida and all the wind that came through and ruined crops. Just like Crown Garden, we lost our flower crops for about a month here. So we're trying to get back into that and be ready. All right, then any additional comments?
Yeah. So I put the logo kind of rough draft into the chat. And so, if we can agree on that, or at least get some commentary on it, then I can move forward with that. And I guess if we know that, because of Ida, there's going to be some difficulties with like farmers having their crops and stuff. One thing that I think would be kind of cool, at least, if we did a class on like, how to, I don't even classes. So one thing I've been doing a lot lately is some of the patient education I give, it's got how to use spices. And it has, like this spice goes good with these proteins, it pairs well in these dishes, it pairs well with these other spices. And there's one for herbs and one for like just different things for kitchen and like how to store your fruits and vegetables properly. And so basically I want to take that. If we can do that and kind of do it like a little more hands-on, like we use some actual herbs and be like, look, you can, taste a little bit of this or whatever. If we can, if it's going to be an issue about having the actual produce there, that we can still do something that's engaging, something that's hands-on, and something that will attract people and still benefit them.
Yeah, that's a huge component to get people engaged in actually using this produce in some way or understanding how to use it. Because I think I have a book. I forget who produced it. It was maybe Grow That Youth Farm or something similar to that, where it takes the basic crops that we can grow in Louisiana and has its recipes. So I think it's strictly vegetarian. So all these vegetarian recipes or side dishes. That's another something else that we can have available for people to pique their interest. All right, so the logo's up there. Any initial comments? What do you guys think of it?
My first initial comment, I like the granola, but when I look at it, it looks like a moon, a face of a moon. But at the same time, I'm thinking I don't see anything that would relate to farming, crops, vegetables, fruits, or anything like that. That's like my first impression. It doesn't give me that feel of what the logo is intent.
All right, so you convey like what's the market about? I get the moon. I mean, that's like the crescent, and we have that in our community garden logo right now, which is a very very basic logo. A very, maybe not basic's not good. Unrefined logo is what I would describe it as.
Now I saw one that was like a crescent moon, but it was just like peas in a pod, and it was just kind of shaped in that similar shape of the crescent moon. And And the font itself for granola, it's the closest thing I could find to the font for Lincoln Beach, according to the old photos of the original sign. That was, I wanted to go with something that was, for New Orleans East. And so that is about the closest font I could find, though, when it comes time to actually produce a logo. Because a lot of these online services where they do logos, they'll do like the whole, trademark and all that stuff for like 30 or 40 bucks out the door. So, I figured something we're going to do, I can send them a picture of the actual sign and be like, I want the letters to be like that.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
Pastor, one of the things when you had said get the community involved, we have and I don't know how we going about with the logo or what have you, but we have so many talented artists. To me, I'm wondering if we should put something out there and let people input into a type of a logo. Like when I first saw this, because I'm not an artist myself, but I was like, what if we put some fruits and vegetables or whatever in the crescent? But then I say, wow, that would look like a reef somehow to me. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like I have this idea in my head, but I don't know how to convey it. But to me, I'm wondering if, because I see kids doing all kind of graffitis and things of that nature, and I always thought, what if we possibly go to some of the schools or try to get that out there to kind of put like a little contest in? I don't know. I know we're trying to do something really fast or whatever, but what do y'all think about that? And how do we go about, finding a logo? And I think for me, it was more so to get the community involved, to get the marketing and advertising. Now, here we are, and this is what we're about to introduce.
I mean, I like that idea. We could do it, have that first market and, have like a logo contest, set it up, have it on the website or whatever, be like, hey, our next market is going to be, in 2 weeks or whenever, we're hosting the contest and the winner gets, like a $50 coupon for the farmer's market or something like that. And that way it's also like the proceeds go back into the market too. Or not coupon, gift card.
Right.
And what if we get two people who do it and then we don't like the end result? I guess we probably just say the contest continues for a few more weeks. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I definitely I think as she was saying, yeah, I think the local artists, like we really do have world-renowned artists in the city. Now I can tell you at least 4 of them off of hand. Cole, who runs the Aksum Art Gallery Uptown, he just finished doing the murals for Drake. Did a lot of the things for Zion, for the NBA, for the Jordan. Then another guy by the name of Jaron, he just did a few other photos for a lot of artists, music artists in the industry. Jay-Z just purchased his painting, which is crazy. Jay-Z just came in and purchased his painting. Then,
these guys are good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. Then Brandon Odoms from Studio B is known worldwide from FIFA to his things in New York. Everybody from Ocasio for the DOC is doing her things, and other people from other parties are putting up his photos. His photos are even in Japan right now for one of the national layouts. And then oh my goodness, it's at least 4 or 5. I can tell you offhand.
Do you think those guys would consider doing something charitable for?
I think so. Right now what's going on is Brandon Odoms is doing something in supporting the artists. And I think he has a few of the logos that could possibly partner. And I think that would be something to kind of bring awareness to what they're doing in artistry, and having artists possibly. He has a youth group of talented artists. Matter of fact, one of them just won Google's award. She was a former student. I'm trying to think of her name. Marimbi, what's her name? My God. I have her name. She was a student in my school. And I'm trying to remember her name right now off the hand. Her and another student of mine. But one of them, she just won the Google contest. She was one of the top finalists. And so it's called Eternal Bee. They're raising funds for artistry. And I think what could be done is something fun and grow NOLA and growing the funds for artists while we're bringing awareness to actually growing farmers and local fresh produce. He's an activist in the city, a fellow activist too. So I wouldn't doubt if he would agree to partnering concerning that. And then if it could be something that's placed on the news for WWL concerning what's being done and growing awareness for farmers.
Well, once you get me that information, if you can find it or have it, and I will start working that angle. Ryan, I like the simplicity of the logo. That's kind of the farmers market trend right now, is simple, clean logo. But I really do like that connection to Lincoln Beach with the lettering. I always, whenever I create anything for the community garden, I always add some moon in there or crescent. I think that's just defining of our city. But let's try go this way and figure out if we can do a contest, or we have some of our awesome artists promote what we're doing and connect it to some of what they're doing too.
And Pastor,
Yeah,
that's
because if they do it, then it gets posted on social media, and it's that many more people are going to see it.
Yeah, and Pastor, that certainly can be a qualification of wanting to include the crescent. Like we can tell them, however, whatever they create, that somehow they, have that included somehow.
Yeah, and maybe we could have a little conversation too on the side of what would be, Crescent is New Orleans, but what would be the defining feature of New Orleans East, and what would that look like in a logo?
And also
right.
how we tie the farm,
Yeah.
theme market into it as well.
Yep. Okay. Good. Thanks for your work on that, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Good. Any additional comments, questions? So we will continue to have these Tuesday evening meetings until we do launch, to wrap up or tie up the final strings for this. So right now, what we hope to accomplish this week is that Crown Community Garden, these are some of my action items I have to do. Crown Community Garden contacts the market umbrella and figures out some of the EBT SNAP stuff. Also to get liability insurance for wherever we set up. I think as long as we have have purchased an insurance policy, we can use that wherever we go, from what I understand. And also some of the marketing stuff will begin. So sending out some sort of digital invitation or just information for you all, and then trying to spread that through our congregations and our community, and then beginning to contact some of our local leaders as well, to notify them and invite them to share as well. And then let me see if I have, let me run over a few other action items from last time. Okay. I think we're pretty well covered for the moment. Good. Well, I appreciate you all joining the meeting. I'll get with maybe you, Ryan, Ashley, and Kim later on to fine tune some of the other details of the market. But spread the news. So we will do the same next week, Tuesday at 7 o'clock. I'll put together some of the notes from tonight, send it out, attach the video, and then hopefully we get a few more vendors that can share some input. And so, Kim, as you hear from vendors, just kind of keep me updated with what they're thinking, if they're interested in this market, their availability, and their what they're able to bring at the moment.
Yes. And once I finish the form, I'm going to send it to you. Maybe you can send it out in the next newsletter.
Yes, I can do that. So, all right, I appreciate you all very much. I'm excited for this. I know it's going to take a little work to get it up off the ground. Talking with a few people who have dealt with farmers markets, it'll be a challenge to start it and keep it going. But I think if we get a good community base, get the word out and get people excited, this isn't just a place where you can buy stuff, but hopefully this is a catalyst for something bigger than just food in New Orleans East, but the community growing and promoting the economy in our small area. And from there, I think we can use it as a springboard for a lot of things that we need to address in our New Orleans East area. So thank you very much. If there's anyone who's interested and curious, just pass my number along to them. I'll send that out in an email. I'm glad to talk and collaborate and network with anyone.
Have a good evening.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.